Hello, good people. Kia here. Kia J here. Coming to you with dry lips and skin. I am getting ready to go out and run some errands, but I need to do my skincare, and I've been wanting to do this video and talk to you here on YouTube about my pregnancy. I am pregnant. Yay. At this point in time when I'm talking to you, I am 18 weeks. And what I'm going to talk to you about today is just the point to trying to get pregnant in my first trimester. And then I'll come back and talk about my second trimester, because I'm still at the beginning of my second try, but I have some symptoms, okay? So I'm going to do that while I'm getting ready. So yeah. So if you haven't watched any of my TTC journey videos, then I'm going to catch you up here. So in 2021, I decided that I wanted to have a baby. So I already have a daughter who is currently 7. And, you know, right after I had her, people kept asking me, do you want another one? Do you want another one? I was like, y'all, I just had this baby. I don't know. I knew for sure I wanted to wait at least till she was 5. That way she would be in school, wouldn't have 2 childcare bills, because childcare is more than a mortgage sometimes. But then when she turned 5, I think she turned 5 like in the middle of the pandemic. And I was like, child, ain't nobody trying to bring a baby into this. But in 2021, I put on my vision board that I wanted to have another child. And I wanted to have a boy. And I was like, it is time. My husband was not with the program. But it was crazy because I think around 2019, 2020, or maybe it was right before 2021, one of my childhood friends, sisters, Simone, messaged me and said that she told me that I would have another child. And at the time when she sent me that, having another child was not on my mind. I'm like, huh? This is not gonna happen. No. So then it actually took me a year to convince my husband to get with the program. Because he was just like, he told me, you know, after we had Harper, that he never really wanted to have kids in the first place, which is crazy because he already had a child and then we already had Harper. I'm like, if you had known this and we hadn't gotten pregnant with Harper on accident or unplanned, I would have broke up with you, son, because I've always wanted kids. Always. So yeah, it took a year for me to convince him. And what actually convinced him was the Secret to Success podcast with Eric Thomas and his boys. And there was a scripture about somebody in the Bible, like, you know, not wasting their seed, is supposed to be fruitful and multiply, etc. So that sparked him to be like, oh, let me get on board. So I don't know exactly what they said, but shout out to ET and the boys for saying it and getting EJ on board. But anyway, fast forward, 2022, I was like, EJ, you need to decide so I can take this IUD out. And it was time for me to take it out anyway. So in February of 2022, I had my IUD removed, and I was just under the impression I'm still young, I am healthy, I am going to conceive this baby fairly quickly, because I've even heard of people conceiving children while having an IUD still implanted in their uterus. So I was not worried or concerned at all about conceiving a child. So I was like, this is gonna be easy. So I just tracked my period on my Fitbit app, because at the time I was wearing a Fitbit. I'd been wearing one since 2016. So they had a feature where you could track your cycle. I did that. So tracking my cycle, and I knew it might be a little wonky since I had an IUD since Harper was born. So yeah. So I started my TTC journey. Like I said, at first I wasn't doing anything. Then I started ovulation testing. I was using tracking apps. I had this like prayer And this book, I don't even know if I have the book. But I'll put it on the screen. I've mentioned it in the video before. I was also tracking my temp. I had this little notebook where I would keep my ovulation test strips. And also in the app, it's called Mom to Be, which that was a really good app. It kept track of a lot of things. And I even paid for it for a little bit to get a little more detail and insight into my body and my cycle. But it just, none of it worked. It just, you know, it wasn't helping along in the process. It was actually becoming more frustrating. And we actually kept it a secret. It was just between me and EJ, and a few of our friends knew, because we also had a couple friends that were trying as well. We kept it a secret from basically our families, because I knew I didn't want my mom to be like, are you pregnant yet? Are you pregnant yet? Are you pregnant? I didn't want that, because that would have been even more frustrating. So we kept it a secret until one Sunday we went to church and they were doing a christening, a baby christening. And our Bishop Emeritus, he got on the mic and he, you know, was listening to the Holy Spirit, and Holy Spirit told him that there were people here that were trying to conceive, that were trying to have a baby. And I was just like, oh my God, like God be knowing, he be knowing. So that happened, and I was sitting in the audience, and he got up there and I started boo-hooing and crying, okay? And I didn't even ask EJ if he wanted to go. All I remember is like our cousin was sitting on the outside, and I was like, excuse me, in full tears. And what our Bishop Emeritus, what Bishop Brooks said at the time, was that our current pastor and Bishop Pierce, and his wife had the anointing, the power, the authority to lay hands on those people who were trying to conceive, because our current pastors, it took them, I think, 8 years to conceive their first child. So they've dealt with infertility and stuff. So, you know, couples came to the altar, they laid hands on us and they prayed. And I can't remember the date that was. I'll put the date on the screen. But after that, I was still like kind of doing my tracking stuff. And then that's when I shared, or we shared online about trying to conceive. And I think that's one thing that freed me, is like keeping it a secret. Because at first I was just keeping it a secret, you know, so it could just be a surprise to everybody, like, hey, we're pregnant. And then it kind of became like, keeping it a secret was like keeping me bound. It was like a shame type thing. And trust me, I had ups and downs, crying. I didn't want, I threatened many times to stop. I was like, I'm not even trying. I don't care. I'm going to get an IUD. At one point, I even scheduled to get my IUD placed again. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Stick to my notes. Yeah, so we started to share because we knew, like, my husband's mom watched our church service streaming. So she would see it, and even his, one of his aunts. So, you know, then we shared with our family, just our immediate family, like, hey, we're trying to conceive. Y'all pray for us, you know, through this journey. So, yeah, we, all of 2022, we was practicing and we were trying. And it was really, I didn't get really ahead of myself. Like, really testing my faith. My faith was really being tested. It was like, do you really trust God? And I even began to question myself, like, why am I doing this? What is the reason? And, you know, just checking my intentions, and then also trying to be grateful for, you know, the child that I do have. Because I love my Harper Boo. I love my little baby. She's my first baby. She grew up with me. She taught me how to be a mom and continues to teach me how to be a mother. You know, I learned all those things from raising her. All because of her. And I didn't want to feel like, you know, I'm just trying to have a baby to, you know, fill a gap or anything. Like, I want to bring another life into this world. All 2022, trying, going back and forth, faith being tested and tried, stressing, tripping, flipping, dipping, and, you know, nothing happened in 2022. I just thought it was going to happen so quick, but nothing happened. And, you know, seeing so many other people online, like, I'm pregnant or I've had my baby, you know, I'm happy for them. And then, but in that same regard, it also makes me look at myself like, I feel a little inadequate, like I'm not able to do what my body was created to do. So that was a little sad, but I kept pressing on. And again, I was still going back and forth, like, let's do this, I don't want to do this, let's do this, I don't want to do this, because it was like, God, why me? Why is it taking so long? I'm healthy, I work out, I take care of myself, you know, I'm still young, you know, only in my 30s, early 30s, like, it shouldn't be this hard. And I never wanted to actually say or claim that I had fertility issues, because I'm like, I've never had issues. I went to the doctor and got checked out. I do have like a few cysts that I've had for years, but my doctors have always kept an eye on them and they are not growing. They haven't, you know, interfered with my daily living whatsoever, but they've always kept an eye on them. They haven't been a problem. So I'm like, what is it? Is it me? My husband even got tested to make sure that his body was working the way it's supposed to work. Because I'm like, is it him? You know, we both stopped doing things to make sure that, you know, we could conceive, you know, drinking less and all that stuff. So yeah, it was a trying time, 2022. But at the end of 2022, we went to church for a New Year's Eve service, and I made a post declaring that my son, because ever since we've been trying to conceive, we've been saying it's a boy, we're going to have a son. That's what we've been wanting. That's what we've been asking God for. So that's where our faith is as in regards to whether it's a boy or a girl. So I posted that at the end of 2022, and, you know, it kept coming back up, you know, throughout the year into 2023, you know, just reminding myself, even still in the midst of frustration. But, you know, I would just keep going back to God, keep praying and sharing my story, like online, and even just talking to other people. It really helped. You know, people would ask me, are you pregnant? I'm like, well, my period's supposed to come, or what's supposed to come? It's late, blah, 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 blah. And then it would show up. My period was so irregular. I'm like, and that's never been my story my whole entire life. Like, growing up, it was always 28 to 30 days. Nothing crazy at all. So, in 2023, again, we are trying. And finally, like, EJ was like, you shouldn't track. So I had stopped ovulation tracking, buying the test strips. I had stopped drinking the tea. I was taking like conception vitamins. I had stopped doing that. I was taking like prenatal vitamins. I think that's about it. Excuse me, and my regular daily vitamins. Because the doctor suggested that when I told them that I was trying to conceive. So yeah, so I was just taking my vitamins, and I was still like using a period tracking app, and it was the one on my Fitbit. Even though I no longer wore a Fitbit, I still used that app because that's the one I'd been using for like 7 years. So it had a history of, you know, my body and whatnot. So I was still using that app, but it would still also like show me like predictions of when I ovulate. And of course, when you ovulate can always change and fluctuates. Like you never really know exactly, right? Because the woman's body is insane. The things that we do and that our body does. And I've learned so much on this journey about my body. So I was still using that app. But around July and August, I deleted all my pregnancy and period tracking apps. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to kick it old school like I used to. Before all these fancy apps, I would just put it in my calendar. When I was in like middle and high school, I would just use my school agenda and put, this is the day my period started, count 28 days, and predict this is the day when my period is supposed to start up again. Plain and simple. I kept it simple. I just put it in my phone. I said, period start, and put a question mark. Like, I stopped. I stopped trying. I stopped planning sex. I stopped all that stuff because it was too much. And I stopped trying to plan my life around possibly being pregnant at certain times because it was too much. I was just like, you know what? Bump this. God, when and if it happens, it'll happen. And that's it. The point blank and the period. Like, I'm not about to stress myself out because I obviously have no control over this. So, yeah, I kicked it old school. And August 28th, I marked my period in my phone and just made my own prediction because that was when my period started. Okay, August 28th was the first day of my cycle. That was the last time I had my period, but I didn't know it at the time. And, you know, people at church knew. My husband and I are over the Dream Team, which is the volunteers at our church. So we're very close. We share information and things with them. We're a close-knit group. So one of the women that is a part of our church, she sent me a text message on September 15th. And she said, she texted me. I'm going to put the text on the screen. All right. That's the text that she sent me. And it's crazy because, like, did I write this down? There was like a few days. Oh, okay. She sent me that text. And then later on September 27th, I remember this day because I take pictures of my outfits every day for work. And I went back and looked at it. I was wearing this 2-piece pink set and I had a white button up over it. And I was driving home and I felt so uncomfortable. I was literally in my car and I had to take my bra off while I was driving. And when I was doing this, I was thinking to myself, I'm pregnant. Like, just offhand, like, I'm pregnant. It wasn't that deep. But I was like, I'm not checking. I told myself I am not going to check till my birthday because I turned 35 last year. And I was like, that'll be a good birthday present. That Saturday, I will check and then I'll know for sure. So I was going to wait until then. And, you know, I just told my husband, I was like, yeah, my period's supposed to come. It's late. Okay. And yeah, it was supposed to come at that point, but it was late. And I was just like, okay, but my period had been acting real crazy. Like I said, since I had my IUD removed, it's been tripping. So September 30th, my line sister one of my line sisters texted us because her birthday's October 1st. And she wanted to take a shot at midnight via Zoom, right? So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll set that up. We were out having a family day. We took Harper to see Disney on Ice. And EJ goes, Nikea, you can't take a shot. You're pregnant. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm pregnant for sure. I'm not taking a test until my birthday, so I can take a shot. It's just one shot. It's not gonna hurt anything. Like, we're good. We'll be all right. And he was like, no, you need to take a test. You need to make sure, And I was like, okay. I was like, you want me to take a test? We can stop by the store after, we spend our family time together. And he was like, all right, we'll get one. Go into the bathroom to take the test. And I think I recorded myself, okay? So I go in the bathroom, take the test. I wait. Harper's there with me. She's known the whole time that we're trying to conceive. You know, I wanted to include her in this because I don't want her to feel like left out. Like, we're not trying to replace you, boo-boo. We just add into the family. But take the test, wait the 3 minutes. I look at it and I'm like, oh, I'm not pregnant. Because I'm used to pregnancy tests, the control line being 1 line and then the test line being 2 if you're pregnant, not 1. But I didn't read the results or the answer key correctly. And it was, if 1 line shows up in that box, then you are pregnant. So it took me a few seconds. It didn't take me long to realize it. It just took me a few seconds. And I was like, oh, you can hear me in the video going, no. And I just turned it off. And I run upstairs. Mind you, my husband is in the bathroom on the toilet. And I'm like, EJ. And Harper's running behind me. Mommy, are you pregnant? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. I was 4 weeks pregnant. And that day we called our parents and of course our close friends, come on, who had been on this journey with us and praying for us and with us and, you know, speaking life into us during this process because it's tough. So yeah, we shared with them. I was 4 weeks. And when I was pregnant with Harper, I found out at like 5 weeks, right before 6 weeks. So around about the same time. And yeah, I think I have a video of maybe one of our friends.
The way they just ran around the house.
That was like a Maury episode. You are not the mother.
I am running and praising. I told you to write it down.
You did. You did.
DJ, y'all had the best reaction so far.
Yeah.
That's my day. Babe!
Joe said, I didn't want to
God is so good.
Woo! Oh God, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I said, look at them. He said, can you see in there? I said, let me take these off so I can see y'all. Y'all look good. I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I'm in shock. I said, do I need to go take another one? When we told them, like, they were super excited. And I didn't record everybody that we talked to. But yeah, we called, told our family, friends, you know, siblings, parents. And we also told our pastors the next day. Well, I called my pastor's wife and I told her. And, you know, because I've been talking to her through this process because, baby, when I tell you, I wanted to give up. She had to talk me through some things, hon. But she was really excited. And then the next day we had church and our bishop was there. And me and my husband went up to talk to him, to tell him, because his wife already knew. And what's crazy is they weren't even together. She was here in Charlotte with her daughter, and he was in Greensboro. And he just came down that morning to come to service. And oh my God, we walked up to him and he goes, oh, so when is the due date? And me and my husband are like, oh, this is the due date. And he was like, oh, for real? And he goes, oh, I didn't know anything. I promise you, Deb didn't tell me anything. And I was like, I believe you. I know y'all weren't even together last night. I talked to her. And she was like, I promise you I didn't tell him anything. We were like, well, you got it. We didn't even have to tell you, Bishop. That's it. And he was like, wow. And they prayed with us right then and there. I love them. They're so spiritual and I love it. And they prayed for us right then and there, you know, just for healthy baby, pregnancy, mom, all that stuff, which I am grateful for and I appreciate. Yeah, so that is how we got to the point where like we're pregnant. So we kept it close until 12 weeks, right around Thanksgiving. At this point, y'all have seen the pregnancy announcement video that we posted. So now, fast forward, first trimester. The symptoms that I had, of course, late period, sore breasts, oh my God, and my nipples were so sensitive. Also had insomnia, like I could not go to sleep. But then I also had fatigue when I was really tired. For like the whole first trimester, I did not like the taste of plain water. I had to add the drink mixes, little shake 'em ups to flavor the water, because plain water was so disgusting to me. It was just like, ugh, gross. I had a low appetite, and when I would get hungry, I would get nauseous. And then when I would eat, and I would get full quickly and be a little bit nauseous. Never threw up, never had morning sickness, just the nausea. Nausea was, it wasn't insane. It wasn't too bad. It was present. Which was similar with Harper. I didn't have nausea. I mean, I didn't have morning sickness, thank God. I don't ever want to experience that, okay? I had a little bit of constipation. I had gas. That's my thing. One of our friends, when I was pregnant with Harper, used to joke with me and say, oh yeah, she got baby gas. Also a little constipation, but that was like temporary. Cause that was just like one day, oh my God, I remember I was sitting in our closet doing something and oof, baby, the pain, but then the bottom fell out. Okay, Lord Jesus. And I got my relief. I did have some bloating just around my midsection because, you know, contrary to popular belief, the baby is in your lower pelvic area for a few months until like 5 or 6 months. Okay, this joker. So anything in my stomach area was bloating and or food. Okay. So yeah. Also I had like congestion, which is a symptom of early pregnancy because like all the mucus and stuff built up in your body causes you to like be congested, which I didn't have that before, but oh my God. Like I wasn't sick at all. I just couldn't breathe. And of course, you know, there's a limited amount of things that you can take when you're pregnant. So you got to be careful with that. I would get lightheaded, and I also had like some light cramping, which, you know, it didn't scare me. I knew my body was shifting, changing, growing a whole human, okay? I had my first doctor's appointment at 8 weeks. They did a vaginal sonogram, which if you never had one of those, thank your lucky stars. So we did the vaginal sonogram just to confirm the pregnancy and to confirm how many weeks I was, which I was on track with that. And they did an estimate of the heartbeat. And then I started setting up my appointments. At this point, I go once a month. And then later you start going twice a month. And then you go once a week until you give birth. It's a lot. This is the most I see the doctors when I'm pregnant. That appointment, it was 8 weeks just to, again, confirm the pregnancy. We got a couple pictures to see my little big head baby. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, was it that appointment? Yeah, I found out that I am of advanced maternal age. Love that for me. So if you turn 35 at any point during your pregnancy, you are advanced maternal age, which just means that you are more likely to have some symptoms like, you know, preeclampsia, high blood pressure, that stuff. So they want to monitor you. So I'm not high risk. I'm just, you know, an older woman with an older uterus and eggs that is carrying and going to birth a child, which I think for women, they just have a concern about conception and pregnancy and labor and delivery because women are born with all of the eggs that we will ever have in our lives. So my eggs are as old as I am. So they're 35 years old. Unlike men, you know, their sperm doesn't develop until puberty, and then it's like it replenishes or whatever, or something like that. I don't know. I could be wrong. Again, I'm not a doctor. But yeah, I think I just want to monitor, be safe. But yeah, I'm advanced maternal age. I'm like, what? Ain't no way. But whatever. It is what it is. It's a fact. All right. I'm a woman that's 35 having a child. So the doctors wanted me to take a low dose aspirin. Baby aspirin is what they call it. It's low dose, 81 milligrams. At first I was taking it every day, but I did not like the way that it was making me feel. So then I had stopped taking it altogether until I went to the doctor a couple weeks ago, and he was like, I still want you to take it. Try taking it every other day. So that's what I've been doing, taking it every other day. Because I was taking it with food. I was doing everything like to try to like mitigate it. When I first took it, my heart was beating so fast. I was like, I'm about to die. I didn't like the way it made me feel. I thought this was supposed to, you know, chill me out. But yeah, so that's been working. I take my prenatal vitamins every day. This is the one that I take. It's the prenatal with folic acid from Nature Made. And I like this one because it's only one per day. Now they're kind of big. It's a soft gel, but I take one per day. I don't want to have to take two. I don't like that. So yeah, take one of those a day. I was taking iron because at first I was feeling like really cold. I was like, my iron must be low. Just the way that my body was feeling, and because of the fatigue. But I actually stopped taking iron. I was also taking vitamin C, especially before we were traveling, because just trying to keep my immune system strong, because when you are pregnant, your immune system is lower just because your body is focusing on other things, like growing a whole human. So there's that. So I do take that sometimes still, but not as much. To help with my nausea, I did subscribe to Bump Box because I know this is gonna be my last pregnancy. I'm done after this. So I did get these Centrum Morning Sickness Relief Gummies, and these helped. Again, I didn't have morning sickness, but they helped with the nausea, and I'm so grateful that I got those. And I also use C-bands. So you just put those on your arm, and it's a natural remedy. They apply pressure to the pressure points on your wrist, and they help with like nausea. It can be related to pregnancy, motion sickness. When we were on a cruise, I used it. And then I think it was my second appointment. Oh yeah, my second appointment after the initial one. They did like blood work and a urine sample, all that stuff. So I had a UTI. After that appointment, and they prescribed me an antibiotic that I had to take 4 times a day for 10 days. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, I never had a UTI before, and I thought they were painful and it was hard to urinate, but I didn't have that issue. I didn't feel any symptoms that I had heard of. But yeah, that, and it should have cleared up. They haven't called me and said otherwise. So I had that, and then I had like some itching in my vaginal area I had some itching in my vaginal area. So it was between my thigh and my vulva, like where they meet. And the doctor prescribed me a cream because he said that it could possibly be not bacterial vaginosis, a yeast infection. So he prescribed me a cream for that. So I used that, and I recently stopped using it because it wasn't bothering me. I don't know if that was first trimester or second trimester, or like in between. Because I think the itching started in the first trimester. Maybe I didn't get my prescription until second, like towards the end of my first trimester. But yeah. Because I was like, ooh, what is going on? Yeah, but that's cleared up. Yeah, I think that is it for finding out I'm pregnant and my symptoms. I don't think it would be fair to show you a picture of my belly right now because I'm in my second trimester. Hold please, my husband is calling me. Whew. All right, y'all, my husband called me, had to get off the phone real quick. So I finished most of my look. So I will be back with a second trimester update. Once the second trimester ends. Ooh. And tell y'all, the second trimester been woo chat. Okay. All right. I don't know what other kind of pregnancy content I'll be doing. I guess I can share with you all like my birth plan, and you'll see the gender reveal, baby shower, all that jazz. So yeah, thank y'all for tuning in to this video, you know, chatting with me as I get ready and give you a life update. So yeah, I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.